All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Consumer live stream. We're going to be talking about Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty in the podcast that they had this Thursday. They covered a whole bunch of stuff. The things that we're going to focus on today are the exclusivity, which was a big thing. It had everyone losing their minds. And then we're going to get into a little bit more of that interesting things that they said during the podcast. Secondly, sorry, I'm out of breath. I was ripping and running through the house. But we're going to talk about Toys for Bob and some interesting things that are going on with them. And lastly, we're going to be talking about the Rise of the Ronin and how it's reported that it's canceled in Korea. Very interesting story behind that. And we'll talk about that too. With a lot more stuff sprinkled throughout. What else we've got? Before we introduce our guests, we are almost at 1,000 subscribers. So if you enjoy the live streams and the videos, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. It's the best thing you could do for the channel, and we really appreciate it. But with that being said, let's introduce our guests. So we've got Panda back. He's here for the lols, everybody. And then our sharp commentary coming from Gamer Geek. How's everybody doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
Very good.
Pretty good, for sure. How about yourself?
Awesome. Hey, Panda.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Ready for this live stream. I'm excited.
Right
I am
on.
too.
Yes. What games? I know we never really got into, like the before chat stuff, but what games are we playing right now?
Helldivers 2.
Yes,
That's all
that's
I
right. I totally forgot. Yes. I actually joined in on his live stream and it was amazing. It looked super tough. And Panda.
It's intense.
Yes.
It's intense for again, for the price of this game, $50. Of course, you can get the special edition that they came out with if you could find it.
That was so
But
funny.
$50 for a game that you're constantly in an action movie. Let's say a Michael Bay film, I would say. I mean, maybe over exaggerating a bit, but it was so much that my game started almost to crash because there was so much action going on.
Wow.
It was kind of amazing to watch,
And of course, the whole, space and bugs and, of course, Starship Troopers. It's the whole parody of what the game's about.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
That's what I believe Helldivers 1 parodied off, was just Starship Troopers. So it's good that they kept that same tone and violence and comedy action. That there's even points of the game where I'm laughing where you get hurt and the guy's like, "Oh, my leg!" And I'm like, "Oh my god!"
That's great.
Oh my gosh. Have you seen the movie, haven't you? Because you say you hadn't, but I was wondering.
Haven't, but I
Right
have
on.
to now. I have
Yes.
to now because of this game.
Dude, it is so good. It has everything. It's got the interdimensional travel. It's got the alien bugs. It's got the blood and gore. It's got everything. It's so good.
I would say the game, to what I've seen from clips of the movie,
Mhm.
is almost a one-to-one reference.
Yes.
The bugs
Yep.
look the same. The creatures look the same.
Oh yeah.
The Starship Troopers, like, one-liners that they say is almost the same as what I've seen.
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
It's a good game. I really enjoy it. You get your what they say, the last stand feel,
Oh,
where you're
shoot,
trapped in
really?
a corner just trying to shoot all these bugs, and you're gonna make it, maybe. I don't know. But
You
I
went
might
through a
die
couple
here.
of those during the live stream, bro.
Yes.
Yes. That's so hilarious, dude.
It's a good game. I would recommend it for those who are looking for something new right now, for sure.
Okay. Right on, right on. And Panda, or sorry, Gamer, what are we playing right now?
I am actually finishing up Resident Evil 2 remake.
Very cool. Okay.
And then my 15-year-old decided that he was going to start playing the other day.
Nice.
And he always makes fun of me because I'll get jump scared. And so I've been sitting in my room and listening to him, like, every once in a while scream, and then I'll just start busting out laughing.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm glad you made these tutorials because it's really
Yes.
helping me
Yes.
do my game." And he's almost done with Leon's campaign, so I'm kind of proud.
That's very cool. Oh my God. You know, freaking Resident Evil has always been touchy for me just because I saw the Night of the Living Dead, the black and white, when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
And so my biggest fears are heights and being eaten alive by zombies. So I've never gotten into the Resident Evil franchise, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Just because I don't want to deprive myself of the experience. It seems like so much fun. And
it really is.
Yeah.
It really
Resident Evil is a good title to start off with a good zombie fear.
Yeah. Right on. My gosh. Let me see if I did this right. I hope I did. Oh, we've got some. Oh, nope, I didn't do it right. I tried. So what I was trying to do was get the chat going again, like last time, but it's totally not gonna let me.
It doesn't like us today, huh?
No.
Well, he fixed the audio today, and then now the comments aren't working.
That's how it goes. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, what I'll do is let's get into our first kind of big story. So the thing that was sending everyone over the edge was the exclusivity. The rumors came out, and some were backtracked, but you know, the truth, you know, a rumor will make its way around the world before the truth can put its shoes on, you know? So everyone's freaking out. Starfield was rumored to come, Gears of War, and all that good stuff. But Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty, they did a podcast on Thursday and kind of calmed everyone's nerves on that, kind of set the record straight, confirmed, and all that good stuff. And I'm so glad that YouTube has chapters now, so I didn't have to pre-record, I didn't have to download the video or anything like that. So let's get into what Phil Spencer has to say about exclusivity. All right. You know what? Here we go.
So let's just go and tackle the exclusivity question, because I know it's on the minds of a lot of people. We hear from the community, and that's an important input for us. So we made the decision that we're going to take 4 games to the other consoles, just 4 games, not a change to our kind of fundamental exclusive strategy. We're making these decisions for some specific reasons. We make every decision really with the long-term health of Xbox in mind. And long-term health of Xbox means a growing platform, our games performing, building the best platform for creators, reaching as many players as we can. We're always looking to learn as a leadership team and to grow. And we think this is an interesting point in time for us to use what some of the other platforms have right now to help grow our franchises. So we're going to.
Right. And so whenever he's talking about a good place for gamers and creators, he's talking about the developers. He wants it easier for the developers to create games and make games for, you know, the platforms that they want. And I think that is freaking awesome. So I saw a question being raised. It was an article, and it asked, did the podcast do well? Did Phil Spencer do well? And I have to say 100%, absolutely yes. He came out, he was clear, concise. I do wish they wouldn't have went with the podcast type style, but this, you know, he did a good job of conveying what it is they're going to be doing with exclusivity and what they want to do with their creators and gamers and how they want to move forward. I think he did a really good job.
I have to agree with that. I think that I know that some people are saying that it's just lip service, but I felt like he did a great job explaining it and kind of quelling fears. I know everybody wanted to know what those 4 games were, but I do agree with him not wanting to steal the thunder from the developers.
Yes.
We'll probably find out at the showcase what's going on with that one.
I want to say it's in June. Okay.
But I think he did really good.
Yeah, I would say that was the whole point, right? He's putting more emphasis on, he's working with the developers and not like what we were talking before, not pushing them to pull out all these games because they don't want to. So, of course, we already know what 4 games are coming out. But
yes, we do have an idea.
I was gonna say you could already tell those are developer-based games, right? Those games were made for gamers and were based off what the developer wanted, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, if they want to know what 4 games, they can, we could figure it out what they are. But from the 2 out of the 4 games that I saw, it seems like they were more based off the consumer and the developer.
Yeah,
they're real polished games. They're pretty good. They have a pretty good fan base, so I would imagine once it crossed over to Sony, that fan base would grow even more, especially with those 2 type of games that that I'm trying to mention are actually pretty good games, right? You got your one type of action based game, and then the other one's survival based game. I mean, technically they're both survival based games, but at the same time, that fan base is probably going to grow more.
Yeah.
With the developers trying to work better towards being cross platform.
Which I completely agree with, and console wars, I get the business side of it, but as far as the inner fighting between gamers and I'm this console and you're that console,
yes,
I've never really understood. I'm just like, I want to play games.
Yes.
I don't really care where, as long as they're good, as long as they work. I want to play games, and I think that Phil is trying to kind of cross that divide a little bit as far as the community based, which is what he put emphasis on. So like those online games, the multiplayer games and stuff like that, so that more players can play and the games can be enjoyed by more people and the franchise can grow. Because if the more players you have, the more likely you have to have a sequel or updates or something like that.
That's
so
right.
I think it's a great strategy.
Yeah, I want to play games like I did with my friends and family back in the day, right? Like you were saying, gamer, you would have to borrow to play with them. But now with different consoles, I want to play, 7 Days to Die with my Xbox buddy when I'm on Sony, or you know what I mean? Like I want to play something chill, something like that. So
exactly. Like I mean, some people can only afford the one console, and so it's nice to be able to get that, shared experience.
That's right.
I still have, Army family. I wish I could play with them because, I'm stuck on my PlayStation and they're with their Xbox. I have Xboxes, but my kid not plays them, so it's not like I'm going to get on them.
Right.
So, but it would be really cool, being able to connect with, your friends, whether they're on Xbox or PlayStation or whatnot. So, I like the strategy.
And I think that PlayStation's missing a really good opportunity to kind of like see what Xbox is doing and kind of emulate their strategy in the same way, But what I really hate to see is PlayStation is fighting Xbox on so many fronts when in reality it's just going to make them better, And Xbox, or Phil Spencer specifically, he talked about basically wanting to be everywhere during the podcast. Like what's going on with Netflix right now, they're like the only streaming service that's doing well. Everyone else is hemorrhaging money, hemorrhaging subs and everything like that, and Netflix seems to be in a stable place. I think what Xbox is doing, they're setting themselves up to be ready whenever gamers are going to make that change to subscription services. I think that's where we'll end up ultimately. You've got your Ubisoft Plus, you've got Game Pass, you've got all these ones that are kind of dabbling in it. Well, Game Pass is by far the best one, and they have the most games. But I do believe that there's a time that consoles will not be as popular. People won't be buying consoles. It won't be a huge thing in subscription services will be, and Xbox is setting themselves up to be the number one choice for when players are trying to make that change or ready to make that switch over. I don't think we'll totally see consoles go away 100%, and I don't think that we'll totally see physical media go away. I like the option, you're
Yes.
digital, you're physical, I like having that option.
I always want options. You know, I want to be able to, have my physical, have my digital. Be able to have my stuff on the go. If I have a family emergency or I'm planning a trip or something like that, I want to be able to access my stuff anywhere I am.
Yes.
So I love that with Xbox. As far as consoles go, like I get that they'll probably go away or might not be as popular. My case for consoles is that I don't have to upgrade my computer. I don't have to switch video cards. I don't have to do anything. So for the life cycle of that console, at least 6 years, I'm steady. I've got it. But with PC, I might have that PC for like a year, and then something else comes out, and I'm not going to meet the specs for it. You know? And that's
affordable to have a console as well than it is upgrade a PC every year for sure.
Exactly. And so that's why I'm so big for consoles staying and not going away, because financially it's better for a gamer. So that's my thing.
Let's pop into what the whole kind of panel had to say about multi-platform availability, and why it is good for business, and why Sony or PlayStation in particular should pay close attention to what he's saying.
Growth in this industry.
And my understanding, just from listening and learning from you three over the past few weeks, just understanding what's happening with Xbox, is that we see trends with player behavior where people are playing on multiple devices. That is the reality. And we have put some games out on multiple platforms before. So my understanding is that that's been good for players. How does that come back to the business with all of that in mind?
Yeah, as you said, we have shipped games on other platforms. In fact, realistically, if you look with the addition of Activision and Blizzard and ZeniMax, we're one of the largest game publishers on PlayStation. We're one of the largest publishers on the Nintendo Switch, especially when you put Minecraft into the equation as well. And now we're one of the largest publishers on mobile platforms as well. And that's not something that we want to back away from. We want to continue to be building great games that millions and millions of people can love, and that they can play those games where they want to go play. But we do understand the business success that Xbox has to have. Us as leaders in this business, the system today, the system that all companies that we play video games from, is a world of you got to be growing your business. Growth in our Xbox business is critical to the long-term health of Xbox. Many people know I've been on Xbox for over 20 years, and I want to make sure Xbox is in the best position for the next 20 years. That means healthy player community, healthy creator community, and healthy business. So when we look at opportunities to allow more people to play, more people to engage, more people to buy, more people to subscribe, it's all about putting Xbox in the best position. And our hardware is a critical component of that. The absolute best experience somebody has on Xbox is hardware that your team builds and that people play on. But that's not going to be everybody. We fully accepted that we're going to have Xbox players across all kinds of devices.
So I think a lot of people...
And I think that's really, really important. And I think that PlayStation should take note. Not necessarily, their exclusives, the reasons that people play PlayStation, but they've got a bunch of games that aren't their tent poles, that they could like really just kind of give out to anyone, kind of pepper the other platforms and let people know, hey, PlayStation is a valuable platform. You can play here, and we have, other titles, better titles, once you join our ecosystem, that you'll, we guarantee you enjoy. I think they should be taking that route, and they kind of are. I didn't bring it up, the video of PlayStation CEO talking about how they're going to make a harder push to get into PC, but I think he should diversify that. I think he should be pushing it towards Xbox also. But that's just me.
I don't think it's just going to be a PC push. I think it's going to go towards Game Pass if you think about it, because Game Pass is on PC, correct?
That's right. Yes.
So maybe it's just like a play on words. You know what I mean? Like I understand the push towards PC because it's, you know, a bigger, broader kind of like spectrum for more people. But if you think about it, if they're already putting it on PC, what's stopping them from just giving it to Game Pass after that?
Yeah.
I get that. Their third-party games, I'm sure they could do some more sharing with that. I like that they're going to PC and trying to get a little bit more business there. It's a smart move because a lot of people, you know, like with Horizon Forbidden West, they just released that on PC and everybody's excited. It gets that into their hands, and it's a smart move because they can get more console sales that way.
Yes.
So I like that they're kind of following Microsoft's suit in that way, but they've got to figure out something that can compete with Game Pass. Their PlayStation Plus does not.
No.
It's extremely expensive.
Yes.
I've got the top tier, and then they just raised prices. But if I get a game on there, it's not like the standard PlayStation Plus. I put it in my library, I have it forever.
Right.
That's not how it is on the top tier. And that kind of sucks. But that also happens with Game Pass. I know, like, my son was like, "Oh, they removed such and such game, and now I can't play it." And I'm like, "Oh, sorry." You know, like, you know.
Right on. As far as all that goes, if it's on it like a kind of your Netflix and things like that, you don't necessarily own that media. You're paying to kind of rent it, you know. So if they do go towards that, I think it'd be more important than ever to kind of hold on tight to your physical media.
Yes.
You don't
own
any of that.
We're talking about this last week, right? About digital to physical. Other than Helldivers, I went to go buy another game that I was looking for my PS4.
Yeah.
And digitally, it was $30. I went to GameStop and I bought it for $15. And I was like, yeah, I'm glad, you know, there's still physical copies, because if not, I would be out another $15-30.
Yeah. So just a quick note on that. Thank you for mentioning that. But how come, and I think you have been railing against this too, Gamer, why are digital copies just as expensive as physical copies? They shouldn't be.
Exactly. You don't have to pay for the discs. You don't have to pay for the packaging. You don't have to pay for the printing for all of
crazy
everything.
Too. It's
so
like you're paying a brand new game digital when I could buy it if I could find it brand new at Walmart for $15, half the price for, you know, a 3-4 year old game. And I'm looking in the PlayStation store or Xbox store for full price as it was still out, you know, when it came out. I'm like, damn, man, I'd rather, you know, look online, call a couple stores and see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Or if they have a shipping, I'll rather pay the extra $1 to ship it at my house to still save myself, you know, $15-20.
That's right.
Exactly. I always try to go for the cheaper route. But for me, I still usually always end up getting a physical copy of it anyway, because licensing changes. That's why games are leaving PlayStation Plus top tiers and leaving Game Pass. So if once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah.
You're not going to play it without buying it. So eventually, I usually always get a physical copy, but my case for physical copies, and I'm actually going to be putting an article on my website about this, an opinion piece, in the next week. But Sony, you know, any other studio, any other manufacturer, they're not going to come to my house and take my stuff as a license. Why not? You know what I mean? Like, you know, Columbia can't come in and grab one of my CDs.
Yeah.
Once the licensing
That's
is up on like Apple Music or Spotify or something.
Yes.
So I think it's very important to have, you know, physical copies. It's kind of like back in the early 2000s when PCs were just getting popular and getting up there and everybody started having one, we always made all these backups of all our files.
That's right.
Well,
Yes.
now we have the cloud, but I can tell you, I still have hard drives. I still have flash drives.
Yes.
With stuff backed up from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's really important because, I didn't think I'd need something from 20 years ago, but the other day I did need something from 20 years ago, and I had it right there because I had it physically.
Yes. Yep. Even if it's like a digital file, you have it with you.
Yes,
and
exactly.
I think people have been posing this kind of answer to the questions because, like you said, once the licensing goes up, you lose that media forever. And so I think someone, the government should step in and say, because it's like you're being robbed. You paid for this media. They're not giving you a refund in some of the cases that I've looked at, and they are able to take that media away from you. That's not okay. That should not be right. That's robbery, basically.
Exactly. And I know you and I talked off camera about this, but it's like the Sony Discovery licensing data. Everybody that bought stuff on Discovery is now losing it. Funimation, I know, is getting taken over by Crunchyroll, and their stuff isn't being refunded either. But it's because of the way that they worded those terms and conditions. So they're able to get away with it. And I don't think that that's right. I think if I pay $40 for a season, 6 years later, I shouldn't have to worry about a license, going up and me losing that material. However, there's also the fact that, in this world with denial of service attacks and erasing accounts and all this other stuff, there's a huge case for having the physical media, or at least a way to get some form of backup.
Right on.
So that you have that material. But if you pay for it, think about it. The digital, you're just like we just said, we're paying the same price as we want to get physical, but we're paying for the convenience of having it anywhere we want at our fingertips all the time.
That's right.
Across multiple devices.
Yeah.
But if I'm paying the same price to get digital as I am to go get the physical copy, I should be able to have it forever.
Yes, 100%. And
you also got to think about digital uses a lot more space as well. It doesn't help out if you're, especially if you go digital console where it's less space or a little bit more space than a disc console, you're still losing either the same amount, if not more space, just to keep that game in your console.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you really are.
Yeah, and as far it like what you were saying, I 100% agree with you on all of that. The digital version should be cheaper, and when you had mentioned it's the convenience, totally fine, but it still shouldn't be like a tit for tat. It shouldn't be 70 and 70. Maybe that convenience fee is $10-15. You know what I mean? It's
something.
Like, yeah.
But it should be cheaper to have digital.
Yeah.
But there should also be protections for consumers when it comes to digital media.
100%. We're going to move into what they said about their next hardware, their devices going forward. As we know, they're not completely getting out of the hardware game. Xbox isn't. And this is what I want to say, Sarah Bond, I want to say she's the one that mentioned this, but this is what she had to say about their hardware.
So we're talking about the role that hardware plays for creators, for the games and those communities. What about the role that hardware plays for us as a business, for Xbox?
When we look at our hardware, it really is, and Phil said this earlier, it's where you get like the most flagship seminal experience of Xbox. And it also represents a developer target. Our developers can build the specs of our hardware, and we invest to make sure they know when they do that the games are going to run great on our hardware, but they're also going to be able to be accessed across any screen because of all the other investments we make. So we're giving them an easy way to access as many players as possible. And we actually have more creators right now building for Xbox than ever before by nature, thousands of them by nature of those investments. And we got more to come. There's some exciting stuff coming out in hardware that we're going to share this holiday. And we're also invested in the next generation roadmap. And what we're really focused on there is delivering the largest technical leap you will have ever seen in a hardware generation, which makes it better for players and better for creators and the visions that they're building.
And okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I kind of don't believe her. Because it's like, if you had this, if you were developing this, like, why not put it out earlier? Why was the Series X not like that big leap? You know what I mean? Not unless they just came upon this, you know, not too long ago. But
well, the other thing that got me too was how she was saying that she's using all this hardware with developers and stuff. Like, you're supposed to already have this to begin with, especially when you're making all these games, right? You know, we talked about it last week where, you know, PC and Sony have their own game developer kits that they give the developers, like, hey, here's what we have. If we need to upgrade it, let us know. We'll give you a better kit. But if that works, that's what you're going to use. And
yeah,
if they're saying like, oh yeah, we're still in, you know, we're still working on that, it's like, no, you should have had that done years ago.
right on. Well, like, my thing is like, their consoles are declining right now. And I mean, on paper, it says that the Xbox is more powerful, but like we were talking about, how would a Halo look on PlayStation? I would say it would look much better. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I think it would look so much better. And then, not to mention the problems that they're having with the S right now, and, you know, games not being able to be ported over there. It's like, okay, this leap in technology would have served you so much better with the Xbox Series X, seeing as your consoles aren't selling that well. If you would have like beautiful looking games on your console, you know, that's one of the reasons why I stuck with PlayStation so long. From the PS1 on, their graphics to me have been top notch. That's not including PC. We're not talking about PC. I know we probably got some PC purists that will watch this, but I'm talking about as far as consoles. PlayStation, in my opinion, has always looked like miles ahead of Xbox.
I kind of agree with that. To me, PlayStation has always been better on graphics, better on like virtual photography, runs smoother. I mean, honestly, like, my kid can be in the middle of playing something on his Xbox Series S and be like, oh my God, it just crashed, or why did it do that? Whereas I don't have that problem when I am playing any of my PlayStation stuff, even if I get it from PlayStation Plus. The thing with Xbox that I think really hurts them is that they were a computer company, and that's their majority. So they focus on, well, this processor is way better than PlayStation's processor, and this and that and the other thing. Well, the thing that Sony gets right is that they know how to work their hardware and their games, and that's why they turn out so well. Xbox is like, oh, we're the most powerful, this, and this. Well, you can be the most powerful, you know, you can be the strongest person on the football team, but still not be able to play because you don't know how to use what you have.
That's right.
Yeah, it's you need the team to be pushing your whole system instead of just you by yourself. When you go all out saying that you're the strongest, the best, the fastest, and then you don't have a game other than Forza Horizon that looks amazing on Xbox, but you know what I mean? But if that's the only game that you could show me that's good, okay, you know, maybe down it a little bit, you know?
Right on. Okay,
Agreed.
so it sounds like maybe their system is top notch. They have the technology. It's a $6 million man. We have the technology, but it's maybe they don't have their games optimized to take advantage of the full capacity of the machine, right?
It will make it stronger.
Maybe, but again, like last week I told you, they still haven't signed their contract with AMD.
That's right.
As of last week. So PlayStation already has their contract with AMD for their next gen console already signed. So what are you doing?
Yeah,
it just points a good point, right? It shows that they're getting ahead of the game. They're making sure they got what they need for the next couple years, because it takes 4 to 5, if not 6 years to make the new console.
Yep.
You know, why why wait this long? Why wait to the last minute to get what you need?
Yeah.
I agree. So we'll see. We'll see if they turn out with their biggest technological leap or not.
Yeah. I don't think I'm skeptical. Let's just say that. I'm skeptical. We do know that their mid-gen refresh console is going to be all digital. I don't think they're coming out with a digital or not digital, but a physical a disc version of that console. So
Okay.
I mean, and that's another thing that's kind of got people freaked out is that
Which I think is unfortunate.
Yeah. I'm a big proponent of the digital consoles just because it's way more convenient for me to just go into the PlayStation Store and download it, which I mean you can do on the disc drive, the ones with the disc drive, but I don't really see myself buying physical media. I think the last time I did was with God of War 2018.
Yeah.
That was like the last game I bought in physically. Everything else has been digital. It's just so easy. It's like I'll finish playing a game and I'm like, man, I wonder what's going on with this one. You know, look it up or see something on PlayStation Store. It's like, man, that looks cool. Download it and I'm playing it within the hour. It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy.
Or like with me, where you don't hardly ever sleep. You're up most of the night, and you know, I want that right at midnight. So
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So.
But that goes back to the whole point where not everything is digital right anymore.
Correct.
There's games out there that I wish I could still buy digitally, but either I have to get my PlayStation back on and see if it's my PS3 to see if it's gonna be available on their store. If not, eBay or Amazon, I guess.
Yeah, which we were talking about last week with what was it, Chainsaw Lollipop?
Yep.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that game looks so good.
Which, oh yeah, like I'm really excited. I hope they really are doing a remake of it. But once we were talking about it the other day, I was like, totally forgot about it. And now I want to buy it. I'm going to go hunt it down.
That's so crazy.
Well, all I know is it's a lot cheaper on Xbox and a lot more common. So if you have a 360.
It is. I don't have a 360 though. So, but it might be on the backwards compatibility on the Xbox One. So maybe we'll check that out.
All right. I think I have it figured out. Got to figure it out, I think. The chat. So let's get into the chat real quick.
You got to catch up. There's a bunch.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, there is. I replied in the chat earlier
awesome.
to at least one thing.
Lord Beers, salutations, everyone. It's the weekly meeting of the Justice League of YouTube. You're way too kind, Lord Beers. Oh my gosh, dude. We have the Fox the Wise, Panda the Powerful, and lastly Gamer Geek Lounge, the courageous hero. Like a modern day Wonder Woman meets Resident Evil. Hey now.
There you go. Thank you.
So good.
She's blushing, guys. Come on.
Oh man, I think that's the goal right now. They're probably playing a drinking game. Who can make it blush the most?
Ooh. Here's Lord Beers with the anime recommendation. If any of y'all like anime, you gotta watch Ninja Kamui. It came out last week and it slaps hard like a WWF match in the 90s.
That's the one that came out on Toonami, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, which
it looks super good.
Okay,
it does. I plan to check that out this weekend, actually.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do the same thing. I've been watching, what's that one where the ninja, he gets it's in Japan. This king makes him go to this island to grab this elixir that makes him live forever. It makes him immortal. I can't remember the name of it. I will, you know what? Before we get out of here, I'm gonna do that. We got one from John DBZ. There's more than one Starship Trooper movie, and there was an animated series for Starship Troopers as well. I've seen the like advertisements for the other Starship Trooper movies, but none of them look as good as the first one. None of them look as good. So I've never really wanted to. It's kind of like Tarzan is like my favorite Disney movie. Tarzan 2, never got into it because it looks second rate, you know.
I never liked those Disney sequels. I'm always just like,
most Disney sequels kind of weren't that well.
Lion King 2 was pretty good.
Yeah, it was cute. It was cute.
Is that one with Kobo?
It's what is his name? I can't remember. But yes, yeah, the ones that looks exactly like Scar. Yeah,
I think that's Kobo.
Kovu. Yes.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. We got another one from Lord Beers. She's killing it in the Resident Evil 2 remake series. Yes, it's as addictive as eating a bag of chips, and we all know how addictive that is. I can concur with that.
I know. I can't eat one thing of chips.
No, it's like Pringles.
Yeah.
Another one from Lord Beers. Gamer Geek's son went into the family business. Does he have a channel?
Not yet. I actually told him that he couldn't have a channel until he was 16. So
Right on. That's very smart. Yes.
Yeah, and that's if he keeps his grades up.
Right on. So it's so weird, right? Like when we were growing up, you know, it's be a doctor, be a lawyer or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But when we came of age, and it passed us by just a little bit, but now you can play games for a living. And if my son came to me and was like, Dad, I want to be a streamer, or I want to, stream on Twitch, I'd be like, that's totally fine with me,
Yeah.
You can make tons of money doing it now.
Let me save up some couple bucks first.
Exactly. I think my son's been talking about it since he was probably like 9 or 10 about how he wanted to be a streamer, and I said that's fine. I said you just have to make sure you graduate high school.
Yeah.
And keep your grades up and stuff like that. And then you know when you're 16, I'll help you launch a channel.
That's so
and
cool.
Stuff like that. So that's the plan so far.
Okay, that's freaking awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what this is in reference to, Lord Beers, but he says, "Good one, Panda."
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I wish I would have gotten it up. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
I freaking dropped the ball. Lord Beers, you made him a first aid spray he couldn't refuse.
That's a Resident Evil
reference.
Yeah, like I saw the funniest meme the other day. It was like, oh, my leg got chopped off, let me use this magical spray. Because in 7 and 8 you are constantly like losing limbs as Ethan Winters, and it's insane. Like with his hand he loses it, he like staple guns it back on, throws some liquid first aid stuff on it, and I'm just like, I don't know what that is,
and then his hand starts moving back to he's like nothing happened.
Like, you don't have to connect blood vessels, you don't have to connect nerves, you don't have to connect tendons, just slap that thing on, staple it, and then pour this liquid on it,
and you can move it.
The more and more I looked into that game, the more and more those little scenes kind of like gave away the real story about that game. I'm not gonna ruin it, because if Dark Fox is gonna get into this game, it'll at the end of the game you'll be like, what? It's a whole M. Night Shyamalan kind of thing.
I'm sorry.
Yes, it is.
I've already backseat game that one, Village.
Yeah. Village. Yeah, but 7 you'll get some surprises.
Oh, no way. Okay. Right on. Here we go. Preach it, brother Fox. It is highway robbery. Yes, and I believe that's in reference to, them taking your games away, even though you freaking paid for them. Lord Beerus again, Gamer Gink is right. Once you pay, then it should be yours. No limits. 100%.
Yes.
We're reaching the end here. This is the second before last one. Excellent point, Panda, about the space.
Yeah, because you like with my digital PlayStation, I got what was it, like 825 gigabytes of space, and that's just the total amount of space that's put in there. That doesn't count all of your system stuff and everything that's already installed that eats up that space.
That's right. Yeah.
And then they made it really easy to upgrade the SSD, which was fantastic. But still, you've got to pay X amount on top of it,
Those
to
things
get all
aren't
this
cheap
extra
anymore,
space.
man.
No.
Well, the prime example that I had was I bought Modern Warfare 2. I bought both a disc because they gave it to me for Christmas.
Yeah.
And then I bought it digitally.
Oh, man.
Digitally, I think it was a little over 65 gigs. Just digital.
That's child's play now, man.
It is. And then disc, because it was on a disc, it was only 14 gigs. And I was like, that's a big difference if I want to go digital.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Last comment here from Lord Beerus. Personally, I don't trust digital for many reasons, including this exact reason the three of you are talking about. I'd rather get physical copy and it's mine, and they can't do nothing about it. 100%.
Right.
Yep. For me, it's more the convenience of it. It doesn't run better necessarily. There are no like perks or anything like that. That's why I don't think it should be as the same price as a physical one. But it's the convenience of it. It's being able to go to the Play Store and download it, and I'm able to play it within the hour, you know. And that's all for the comments. Let's move into Crash. We've got Crash Toys for Bob. A report came out about them shutting their studio down. And what did you say about that, Gamer?
I said that what it turned out to be, which we were all pretty scared when they said they were shutting down Toys for Bob. But what it turned out to be was they were a small studio anyway, and they were actually renting a former airplane hangar, which is a huge amount of space. And at the time, they only had like 83 or 86 employees or something before they shut it down. Their lease was ending anyway.
Yeah.
So that's something that we didn't get to see in the media when they said that Xbox was shutting them down.
Yeah.
So it was a relief to see that it was because their lease was up and they're looking for a smaller space.
Right.
Xbox is still behind them and wanting them to work on things and such like that. They did get rid of employees. They went down to like 50, which you had mentioned earlier as well. So I totally get that. They don't need an airplane hangar. You know, right. I've been in many an airplane hangar and they are huge.
Yes.
You know, 83 people in there. Like, what were y'all doing? Did you have like a football field in there for lunch breaks and stuff?
Right on.
Like, it was just too much room anyway. But so I agree with them shutting down that and not renewing the lease and finding something else. But again, Microsoft's dropping the ball because when stuff like this is happening, they're breaking news and everybody's just running wild with their own theories. They're not saying anything.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, and waiting for a podcast, I can see on the exclusivity and everything like that. But Phil was just like, "Oh well, it's been 3 weeks. I'll tell you something soon. We're listening, but we'll get to it later." That's like, ugh.
Right. That was so freaking funny. He's like, come on, Phil, great guy. I can see why, you know, people who are in the Xbox ecosystem, I can see why they love him and defend him so hard, because he's such a down-to-earth guy, very smart, but he's able to, you know, reach the layman people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what teraflops are. I bet.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah, Phil Spencer would be able to kind of break it down and explain it to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
it's just like the higher you go into the space, like, you know, people didn't know gigabytes before,
right?
Any of that, and
those
the
I got
teraflops and speed.
I get those. It's just the teraflops. Oh my god, I heard that and I was like, are we driving a spaceship? What's happening right now?
I know.
Freaking flops. Oh my god.
Even the first time I heard that years ago, I was just like, wait, what? What do I need to learn for this computer class? So I get what you're saying.
Oh my goodness. But let's get into the article real quick. Sorry.
Okay. No, you're good.
Because I'm all over the place right now.
That's okay. Right. It's Saturday morning.
Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh. Toys for Bob has new projects in the works and Microsoft supports them. So, you know, everyone thought that they were getting shut down. You heard them shutting down their studio, their office, and then they were losing people. So everyone was like, "Oh God, they're shutting down the studio that owns." Well, I mean, Xbox owns them ultimately, but you know, the ones that have Spyro and Crash Bandicoot. So everyone was like freaking out. It's like. And one of the things, whenever I was looking into this article, I've had a PlayStation 1 forever, but back then I wasn't looking at the studios. To me, like whenever, you know, it booted up and then the studio would come on, I'd be like, gosh, just get me to the game. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. Nobody cared about the studios before.
Right.
Even still, sometimes I'm just like, yeah, that's great. You know.
Yeah.
Sony studio. I don't care. Get me to the game.
Yes.
Screen, you know.
So I had no idea that Crash Bandicoot was a Naughty Dog game, and Spyro was a Insomniac game. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Oh my god! So I was
Isn't
like,
that neat though?
it's tragic just because, you know, freaking now they're owned by Xbox. When they
Yeah.
they
I
popularized,
think what happened
they
with
helped
Naughty
anyway.
Dog and Insomniac is they weren't making so much when the PS2 came out, so they had to sell their big titles to
Right on. Oh,
keep afloat.
Yeah,
That's brutal.
Activision. Yeah.
that's so brutal. And now look at them. You know what I
I
mean?
know. Now I'm pretty sure if they could, they would probably buy them back.
Right
in a
on.
heartbeat.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because now all we're looking forward to is remakes, and not just remakes, freaking remakes of The Last of Us. It's like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
It's like for the past like 3 or 4 years, that's all they've been doing. That's it.
It's the
It's
Grand Theft Auto saga again.
But with Grand Theft Auto, they come out with new games. With the
Well,
Last
no,
of Us
'cause
series,
Grand
Yeah.
Theft Auto was on the 3, and they just keep remaking it until it came out on the 5.
but,
So that's
but-
what
It's really true. They have they've had a decade and 3 consoles that they've released on there, and they're just raking in the dough. They're just like suckers.
I'm not gonna lie, I did it too. I bought all 3 of them for all 3 consoles.
Yeah, we have them too,
Right on. Okay.
and for multiple consoles.
Yeah,
what
that's the
gets
thing.
me.
It's oh man.
There's only one game I've done that with, and that was Shadow of the Colossus.
Mhm.
Um,
That's a good game.
hopefully they remake it. I don't know if they remade it for the PS5 yet, but when I first played it on the PS4, absolutely fell in love with it. The story and everything like that, and even how tragic it is, was amazing. But if that'll be the only game that I buy for, you know, different consoles. Anyway,
That's cool.
when Microsoft announced that 1,900 people from the gaming division, mainly Activision Blizzard, was going to lose their jobs, Toys for Bob, Skylanders Crash Bandicoot trilogy was amongst the ones hit the hardest. There were even rumors claiming that the studio might be shut down for good after they closed their office. Fortunately, it didn't happen, and now the Crash Spyro YouTuber, Canadian Guy A, has told us more about the fate, of Toys for Bob. It turns out they did shrink quite a lot and went from 86 to 50 people. Them closing the office was planned thing, with the lease running out for an old airfield hangar, which were much too big for them. I think that, never mind. As they wanted a remote solution instead, which, you know, for their kind of job, they don't really need to be in the office.
Yeah, I mean, remote work would be great for them. So
Yeah.
I concur.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It also claimed the studio does have projects brewing, and they could end up growing again as Microsoft is dedicated to Toys for Bob and their IP. So don't worry. So I'm looking at the.
I always worry. It's my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So I don't trust you guys.
Oh my gosh, this is true. I gotta say though, Xbox has to me, they seem more upfront and honest than PlayStation does. So I can take their word further than PlayStation. PlayStation has been really on a tear with their reputation as of late. It's really
they're
sad
very
to see.
up and down lately.
Yeah. I hate to see it. But that's what we're, you know, dealing with right now.
Like I said, just give me my games. And I want them to work, and I
Yeah.
want to be able to play them.
One of the things, so I mean, I'm looking at the article. It doesn't go into what you know, what games they're looking at bringing, what IPs they're working on, but you know, Crash and Spyro probably. So
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, I was like a teenager again when they announced It's About Time.
Mhm.
So if they do another Crash Bandicoot, I am all over that. Like, it was so exciting
Yeah.
playing that. You know, I know that the trilogy is actually harder than the PlayStation 1 games were. In
Yeah, I
certain
didn't know
sections.
how hard that was. I
Yeah.
was doubting myself. I'm like, I don't remember it being this hard.
I know, and then like I was like, am I just like, did I start to suck more as I got older, or like, is it actually harder? And like we were, you know, I watched several YouTube videos and read some articles and stuff, and I was like, okay, so it's not just me.
Right on.
So But like I was just like, I don't remember it being this hard when I was younger. But my best friend and I always did like this tag team thing,
Very cool.
where we would like we would play together and we would switch the remotes back and forth, and I always loved doing that. But that's how we beat a lot of the games. I was like, maybe, you know, I didn't play this section and like I can't remember because it was so long ago. But yeah, like I was happy to see other people say that it was a little harder.
Oh yeah.
But I do love the Crash games, and you know, Spyro is so cute, and I know a lot of people love that. I haven't personally played it, but I've watched a lot of gameplay on it.
Yeah.
And I would love to see them do some new stuff with those two.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
For sure.
The only thing is, I mean, with the strategy that Xbox is going, with the direction they're going in, they might end up on PlayStation. Wouldn't
it? Might.
So
I would like Crash on PlayStation where
oh my gosh. So it's, you know, listening to Phil Spencer talk, he seems to be all about the gamer. I gotta tell you, if he makes those kinds of moves, if Hellblade 2 ends up on PlayStation, if Spyro and Crash end up on PlayStation, I seriously might just bite the bullet and invest in that ecosystem, because he seems it's more about, you know, how that company is presenting itself. They're presenting itself as a more honest, more relatable type of company, which, you know, you really don't see a lot of these days. And I think Phil Spencer is probably the best, the only one that could probably convey that. But, you know, when it gets
honestly, I watched the podcast and I was like, maybe I will get an X, you know, like maybe I will look into it. Maybe, you know, because Hellblade is a game that I really, really like. And I am excited for the second one. You know, my son is the one that actually has the two Xboxes. Not that I can't play, I just don't get a lot of opportunity.
Right.
But, you know, after the podcast, I was like, I just might, because that's what this is about, more than console wars, more than anything else. It's about the gamers, the players, and you should be more concerned with them. They're your business, for one, and for two, without them, you don't have a business.
True, 100%. Yes. Yep. Yeah. So it's like you're saying, you know, he puts more emphasis on the player. So to me, I'm willing to put my trust and my money in that ecosystem. I think I bought an Xbox 360 back in like 2011, 2012, maybe 2013. And I was able to play God of War Ascension on it, which was a fantastic game. Absolutely loved it. I played Tomb Raider on it too, but I just wasn't feeling it as much, you know. I was like, man, you know, the Xbox is cheaper, so I'm gonna go with the Xbox. That's just it was right before I moved here, and you know, I was freaking broke as a joke, and I was like, the Xbox is cheaper, I'm gonna go get an Xbox. And so but that was the only reason. That was my only foray, my only step into the Xbox ecosystem. But, you know, after really kind of immersing myself in the gaming industry and seeing the dichotomy between PlayStation and Xbox, it's really having me reconsider where I should be putting my money. But I love Xbox or PlayStation. It's maybe a nostalgia thing to this point. Just those rose-colored glasses is like, those games, they look better, blah 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 blah. I really got to sit and kind of chew on that for a second, but I'm really thinking that Xbox is making moves that I like. They are all about the gamer, and maybe it's time for me to kind of reconsider why I go for PlayStation first, you know. And that's, I think I have Sony to thank for all that.
I mean, I'll be honest, I'll probably always go Sony first, just because that's my preference. But if they don't start doing more focus on the gamer, it might be Xbox first for me. I don't know. But I am, you know, I was impressed, even though the Series S has a lot of trouble, I'm still impressed with the one that we got my kiddo for Christmas. Graphics on bad. I mean, I definitely have a difference between Xbox and PlayStation. I'm not saying PlayStation's better, but it's my preference.
Yeah.
So I can honestly say after all of that, and I don't have a lot of experience with Phil other than what I read, but
Yes.
you know, doing the podcast, I'm paying a lot more attention to the news, what's going on, the interviews and such like that. And there's a lot that PlayStation does that I'm like, this is really, really great. And there's a lot that Xbox is doing that I'm like, oh, I really like that. I dig that. I could get behind you guys.
Yeah.
Whether that's buying Game Pass just for my laptop, my gaming laptop, or whatever it is. But, you know, I'm going to go with what, you know, it's just like a relationship. I'm going to be with someone that treats me right.
I like that.
You know what I mean? Like, and because for a lot of us, gaming is a way of life, not just a hobby. Other people, it's a hobby. For me, it's a way of life. It's a passion. I was lucky that I grew up in the 80s. I barely remember it, but, you know, I had the original, you know, we even had an Atari and everything. But one thing that I can honestly remember is my parents never told me stop gaming. They never discouraged it. They never, they bought me everything that they could. They encouraged it. I remember being like 30 and my dad's like, what do you want for Christmas? You know, and I'm like, I want this video game system. He's like, you've always loved video games. And then like it would show up at my house and I'd be like, seriously? Like, you know, that's what I grew up with. And so for me, like it's always been that way since I was like 7 or 8. You know, it's always been video games, and Nintendo is a huge part of that for me. So I'm always gonna have Nintendo too. But I like being able to have the options. I like being able to play the games. There's going to be stuff that runs better on Xbox. There's going to be stuff that runs better on PlayStation. Stuff you can only get on one console. I don't mind being a 3-console home, but I want to be treated well as a gamer. So
you always want to make sure you have that spectrum of what you could do, right? You don't want to just be held for one. I mean, I that's how it was before too. You know, you had your Sega, your Nintendo. Now, you know, you got your 3 main consoles now. It's Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox. As long as, you know, they're all doing well, I think it'd be nice to, you know, dabble in one another, not just be one specific console and then, you know, like you said, you know, be that one person that's like, oh, you know, Xbox this, Xbox that, or oh, Sony this or Sony that. You know what I mean? And that's what makes it harder for people. It's if you have those kind of people just, you know, going forth and just being like that, it just makes harder for anybody to be in that same kind of like suit with an Xbox or PlayStation or PC or Nintendo.
Exactly. Like if more people were just like, this game is awesome, not, oh, it's this system and the games are all better on this system, you know, like just let's play the game. And let's enjoy the game. Let's talk about the game.
That's a really good point.
Let's do this or that, you know.
Just open cross-platforming for all.
Exactly.
Put games on all the systems.
What's that meme from Naruto? The 2 clan leaders shaking hands in PlayStation and Xbox. It's like, dude, that is the end game. Hopefully, that's what I want.
That would be great. Like, there's competition, healthy competition, and then there's like all out war against each other, and I'm just like, come on, guys.
And it seems that the Sony's the only one that's stuck in that mindset. I'm sure we would have hit crossplay a lot sooner. If you know, PlayStation would have got on board, but they are so old school back then. You know, I think they saw.
I don't get why crossplay is such a big deal to Sony. That I've never agreed with. I'm just like,
you're right. And then the fact that I think some of this stuff came out during the FTC when it was revealed that Sony, you know, if you don't make like $1 million with them, the dev has to pay Sony.
What?
I think I saw that. I saw that during the FTC. I was like, if you don't make a certain amount, while this is on our platform, you pay us. It's like, hold on, that's pretty messed up, dude.
That's rude.
You know, it's like I'm already like paying to have it on the platform. It's like you're putting these extra kind of chains on me. Like, what if I just love making games and I don't expect it to make so much money, you know?
Exactly.
But Xbox is not that way, you know?
Yeah.
They're not like
That's
that.
It's kind of like Xbox is great in that respect, and then Sony's great with the fact that they're like, hey, there's no limits, no time, make the best game that you can.
Right.
Here's the money that you need to do it because we want great games on this platform.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they could both learn from each other for sure.
Oh, 100%. Sure. Now, with that being said, I'm pretty sure I read it somewhere. Please, someone correct me in the chat if that was incorrect. But I do remember reading that. But with that being said, we'll move on to Rise of Ronin and it being canceled in Korea. So there's a certain part in the article that kind of gives a little bit of insight into it. But what I deep dived into the conflict between Japan and Korea, and it's freaking nuts. But let's get into the article real quick. All right, so it says Sony reportedly cancels Rise of the Ronin launch in South Korea. Oh, I'm in the wrong freaking window. Here we go. South Korea launch of Team Ninja's upcoming PlayStation 5 exclusive Rise of the Ronin has reportedly been canceled. And I hate when they do that. You know, when you lead with this, it makes it sound like they canceled the entire game, which is not true. I can't stand when they do that. But Korean community website Relaweeb, spotted by Eurogamer, reported that Sony Interactive Entertainment Korea confirmed the game will not be released in that market, either as a box release or via PlayStation Store. The news follows several reports by Korean outlets that the game had been pulled from Korea's PlayStation Store, and almost all promotional videos had been removed from Sony's PlayStation YouTube channel for Korea. And this through GameIndustry.biz. Here, let me grab by James Batchelor. That's funny. According to Ruliweb, hope I'm pronouncing that right. Sony did not give a reason for canceling the launch, but is believed to be connected to the comments made by the game's director Fumihiko Yoshida regarding 19th century scholar Shoin Yoshida. Yoshida taught many of the leaders of the Meiji Restoration, which brought imperial rule back to Japan, and was a key figure in an 1873 debate as to whether Japan should conquer Korea. Spoiler alert, they did. While this was decided against at the time, Japan later took control of Korea in 1910. And occupied it for 35 years.
Until the end of World War II. Actually.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. As such, Yoshida is a controversial figure in Korea, and his inclusion in Rise of the Ronin has sparked criticism. Absolutely nuts. It's freaking crazy.
Yeah. Well, they've got Sony supposedly did an update and said that they had never had intentions of releasing it in Korea. So I don't know if they're backpedaling or if whoever's in charge of putting the announcements and the upcoming games and whatnot just actually accidentally did it or not.
Right.
But there was a lot. He was a military strategist. He was later killed, but he had a big influence in Japan and played a role in them, basically invading and taking over Korea. There were also not sound insensitive, but basically military sex slaves.
Right. Women. Yes, I saw that and it freaking threw me for a loop. Oh my god.
Exactly. And so they really did a lot. It's kind of like Japan and Korea kind of had this treaty, and they came up with basically restitution, kind of like how the U.S. did with the Japanese camps that they made here during World War II. There was restitution paid and everything. So they've done that together, but I do think that it was probably a sensitivity thing. like, I don't want to bring up all these old wounds or bring
Right.
up like this family animosity. People are like, well, it's just a game, but you've got to remember when a culture has been through trauma, when a culture is being taught one way, and that person or people or country are being portrayed in this good light over here,
Yeah.
it could cause a lot of problems,
100%.
and
Yeah.
you don't want to inadvertently start another conflict between the two countries. So I think maybe Sony is being smart about this.
Right on.
They're saying that they had never intended it to re-release, but I don't know that I believe that.
Right.
I think that that's a backpedal, and oh, we just made a mistake. I don't know why it was showing up in that store.
Yeah.
You just need to be honest.
100%. Yeah.
You know, again, like we were saying, you know, there's PR, and you do have to take care and be sensitive and stuff like that. But at the same time, like, don't lie. Just be like, you know, we honestly didn't think about it. We had no idea. You can even say, I had no idea that this was a thing.
Right.
You know, just honesty is going to get you a little further.
Yeah.
There will always be people that bash you and badmouth you and everything like that. But the majority of the good people in the world are going to be like, hey, you were honest. You didn't think about it. It was a mistake. Hey, we don't hold it against you.
100%,
But when you're in situations like this, and they're like, oh, well, it was never intended. Well, how can we believe you?
Right.
Because if it was in the store, somebody had to approve that, you know?
Exactly right.
So you come to that point and you're just like,
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said, I think honesty is the best policy. People might get mad, but they're going to respect you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your brand is going to be a brand that they can trust.
Yes.
Versus being like, oh, well, we don't even, how did that happen? Like, you know, it's like your 5-year-old. Did you eat that cookie that was on the counter? No.
Yeah.
When it got crumbs all over their chin. Yeah. So not cool. Not cool, Sony.
Not cool, Sony. Goodness gracious. And I mean, like you said, with everything that happened with that basically invasion during 1910, you know, it was, you know, the sex slaves for the military men when, you know, but it was also, you know, to participate in the Japanese government, you had to get rid of your name. You had to do certain things. Your historical, your history basically was kind of wiped away. They try real hard to wipe away the Korean history. And so when it's running that deep, oh boy, it's like,
it's hard.
Yeah. And the only thing that I would want to is they probably won't get into the occupation of Korea in the game, you know. But if they were to create a game like that, you can't show yourself as the hero. You have to create a protagonist that's fighting against the Japanese to beat them out, you know.
Exactly.
But as far as it being, but like you said, I don't like the fact that it was put on their Play Store. I don't like that. It's like,
exactly.
And then you're saying, oh, it was never meant to be there. It's like, okay, well, I can't, you know, how can I believe you on that? You know, the history of your guys is just, it's too fresh. I mean, shoot, that wasn't even that long ago, you know? So it's like,
I know,
this badgered you.
Think about it. We still have wounds from Pearl Harbor, and at this point, pretty much everybody that was alive during Pearl Harbor is not here anymore.
Right.
You know, but like my grandpa was at Pearl Harbor when it got bombed, and you know, like when September 11th happened, I was at my first duty station. And to this day, it's still very traumatic. For me. So one of the things that I remember most was my grandpa saying, I told you guys this was going to happen again. And then him reliving that horror of being at Pearl Harbor. He was just like, you could see the whites of their eyes when they were flying. And I was like, oh my God. Like, it was crazy. But think about that. You know, I have an issue, and that was 2 generations ago. So how could the South Koreans not have the same issue? North Korea is not going to let this stuff in their borders, so it doesn't like that's not who we're talking about right here. But you know, it got into their story. You obviously that was an intentional thing or a huge oversight because you weren't paying attention, and you probably should research maybe some of that stuff.
Yeah, so. Right on. I don't know, that one's a that's heavy. That's a heavy one.
It really is.
I didn't mean for it to get this heavy. When I try to keep it light and you know, like a beignet.
Which, you know, not all of us are aware of this stuff. So like it at first, like it didn't seem all that heavy to me. I was just like, you know, well, I know about the occupation and I know about some other stuff. But then I looked into it deeper and I was just like, whoa. Yeah. Like
it's brutal.
Cool. Yeah.
Absolutely brutal.
So, I mean, games aren't what they used to be back in the day where it was just to play and you got some skills and stuff. Now we're getting historically accurate stuff.
Yes.
Or based on true things. And so I think that's something that we need to be a little more mindful of, not only as developers and companies that put out these things, but as gamers.
Oh yeah.
So
I distinctly remember a time I was playing Metal Gear Solid 3 and I was, you know, got called on in my class and I was able to answer questions from the Cold War.
Yeah.
And my teacher was like, how do you know that? And it's like, I'm playing a video game, okay? And it's covering that kind of stuff. It's like she was super surprised. That was like the only part that I did well in that class, and it was from a freaking video game, you know. It's freaking awesome.
That's okay. It's just I remember parents saying video games are gonna rot your brain. Well, guess what? Test I just passed, Mom.
Yeah. And like you were saying about your parents, they never badmouth video games or anything like that. My mom never did either.
That's good.
You know,
really
so good. I grew up in a very game forward environment. And I really appreciate my mom for that. Appreciate my mom for that. She was awesome.
Absolutely.
My brother never.
I appreciate my parents for that too.
Yeah. My brother's.
Of course, I spent a lot of time outside too. And I know it's in sports.
we all
know.
did. Yeah. But gaming on the weekends, don't mess with me. I'm playing whatever.
I'm not gonna lie. I missed curfew a few times because I was like, we cannot stop this level. We've got the momentum. I know I'm not gonna be able to play this great tomorrow.
Yes.
But my dad was actually pretty cool about it whenever I did.
Right on. That's awesome. Let's get into some more comments. We have this one from Lord Beerus. One thing that always gets me, I'm sure you all remember buying a new game back in the day and getting that instruction manual. Yes. And having the fun of reading it and getting excited for the game. Yes. 100%.
That was like the best part. You like open it up in the back seat of the car while your parents are driving home. You're reading it, getting all hyped up.
Yes. Oh yeah. We got another one from Lord Beerus. Even the 2-hour Lunar games on PlayStation 1 had cloth maps.
Yes, they used to give you things with certain games.
Yeah.
Like I think one of the last few in the past like decade or so that I remember is it was honestly Lego Harry Potter.
Right
like
on.
It gave you, you know, with the Nintendo DS, you got like a stylus with like a Lego block square on there, and then you could have like Harry Potter figures put on it. And,
that's cool.
Yeah, and so I remember, you know, we
goodness.
talked about like back in the day, we would get cool things with video games, and now it's just like, here's your disc.
I'm gonna have to open
or,
up.
Or you have to spend $40 extra.
Yeah, for the
so you can get some stuff.
Yes, right. Oh my God, they've gotten really out of hand with that. Original soundtrack, necklaces, etc. That's quality that makes it magical for the players. Bring that back as a courtesy to gamers for the money they spend on your games.
Yes.
100%. Another one from Lord Beerus. Speaking of multiple consoles, do you remember the Soul Calibur 2 game and it having exclusive secret characters only available on certain consoles? Yes. Yep. So you either had to buy or rent all versions. Yes. Oh yeah. It's like Spawn was relegated to one, and I can't remember who else they had.
I think they had Assassin's Creed for Xbox, and then they had Link for the Nintendo.
Very cool.
Yes. Which is crazy. Cool. Like I like that. You know.
It's like that players are gonna get excited for, you know.
Well, Mortal Kombat did that a couple years ago too, where they had Kratos for PlayStation, and
Yes.
then I think they had Master Chief for
Xbox.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay, I didn't know
I think they did, and like there was something else for Nintendo, but I cannot remember for the life of me.
Oh, that's hilarious! I didn't know that.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. Like I like stuff like that, and you know, I think like with pre-orders, like I know especially Mortal Kombat will do it, where you get like a specific character if you do the pre-order.
Yeah.
But I think eventually, it might be years later, but eventually, sometimes they'll give you the option to go ahead and go buy that character, which I think is a good idea, and I think they should do that. Like, you know, hey, it's been a year and a half. Let me go ahead and release this character on the other console. Let these people have it. Yeah. You know, like you've already gotten your exclusive. You've already gotten your money's worth out of the exclusive. Go ahead and let them have it, because most of us, you know, I think as parents, we are the kind that have to wait for games to go on sale most of the time. But like the single people that, you know, or even teenagers that live at home, they want that game right then. Right now, they are not waiting. So they're going to get it on your console. But if you eventually open it up, you're going to have a lot more fun.
Yeah. Right on. Okay. Another... Here, I'm trying to go through. Okay. Another comment from Lord Beerus. I'm sure it won't happen, but imagine Conker's Bad Fur Day either getting remastered or new sequels with that humor. You know, I'm really looking for... As a matter of fact, I want to ask... the whole panel, what is a game that you're really looking forward to getting remastered or, you know, or remade or whatever?
Lollipop Chainsaw.
Yeah, that one's good. That one's really good.
We knew Pandas was gonna be that. I'm actually looking really forward to that one too.
Yeah,
my biggest one was Dead Space, and when that came out, it was amazing. So
yeah, and it wasn't even that far removed from because I want to say, didn't it come out on PlayStation 3 or not PlayStation, but Xbox 360, right? Yeah. And then so it's not like it's a generation removed from the original, and they freaking made it look so good.
Yes, that crazy. Game came out pretty awesome. The way I look at it, and it just made it better. They, like I said before, they added like maybe one or two extra missions on it that connected the whole story, but overall they didn't mess with it too much. They kept it all the same, still the same dark, action packed. Yeah, it was a good game.
Yeah, and you guys set me straight on that. Not having a 1-for-1 remake, just, you know, a fresh coat of paint on it. I think, you know, I sat and thought about it. It's like, you're right. You know, having something a little bit of, you know, a tweak to it is not a bad thing. You know, it can kind of add a little bit of flavor to it, you know. So if they remaster like the originals, which doesn't cost as much, but at least eventually remaster them, or, you know, let people kind of get them or something. I really like the remakes because modern day graphics, and then they add more stuff, or they might take stuff away that people really enjoyed from the last story, but they might be adding stuff in that explains it a little better. Okay. That they understand in hindsight that they didn't have the first time they made the game. I'm really loving the Resident Evil remakes. I think it's fantastic. You know, they've pretty much done remasters or released enough of them that we can all still play the original. It's going to be fine, but I'm really looking forward to more remakes. Like Code Veronica's it's a canon, and it's not a main game necessarily, but it's got a huge following, a huge fan base. And I think almost everybody has been asking for that one, and even Capcom did a poll on votes and stuff, like, what do you want to see remade? Honestly, I want to see them all remade in the RE engine. But you know, we've got remasters of the original and Zero and all that. They remade 2 and 3 and 4, and so 5 definitely needs to be remade. There's a lot in the gameplay mechanics. I'm just like, this is not cool. 6, nobody really liked that, so there's probably a lot of opportunity to go in there and change some things.
I do love originals, and I love the remakes, but it's kind of cool being able to bring it to a new generation or use new technology and realize the game in a way that you couldn't when it came out.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yes,
For me, it would be
sign that he gets.
yes,
yes.
It would be Jack and Daxter, that the whole series 1, 2, and 3.
Yes. It's a good series.
The thing I'm wrestling with is whether they should go realistic or if they should stay to its like kind of cartoony kind of look to it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the way they did Crash Bandicoot. I think if they do that kind of way, it would look amazing.
Yes. Yep. That's an even better example than I was going to give. I was going to give Kingdom Hearts 3, how good and sleek that looks. Not a lot of change to the overall design, but it's a lot cleaner. Looks so good. So yeah, Jack and Daxter for me. I think Konami will come to a crossroads where they're going to just have to remaster all of their old IPs because they don't have anyone there left that can make good new games, so but yeah, I'm looking forward to Metal Gear Delta, Metal Gear Solid Delta, and hopefully they decide to do Metal Gear Solid 2, 3 and the whole gamut. I'd love to see all of them, but I think they will. But I think the reason they're starting with 3 is that's where like the series kind of begins, so we might see them redo all of them. But we got a comment from John DBZ. Beerus, they did that with Mortal Kombat as well, which yes, which you guys did, because I've seen the characters. I didn't know that they were for specific consoles though. I didn't know that. Here's one from Lord Beerus. Crash and Spyro belong on PlayStation. It's where it belongs. I 100% agree. I 100% agree. But
I don't mind it being on other platforms.
Me neither.
It needs to be on PlayStation.
Yes,
where they belong.
Lord Beerus says, "Good point, John." They're going. Yes, about the Mortal Kombat. Here's John DBZ. Just got back from making food. Did I miss the X-Men thing? X-Men thing.
Oh goodness.
I don't know.
Maybe talking about the games.
Or with the way everything is going right now, I am really looking forward to Wolverine from Insomniac, but I don't know if they'll do it justice now. I don't know. And then he might be referring to the new X-Men 97 that came out on Disney Plus. I've heard all the controversy surrounding it and everything like that. But I don't have Disney Plus, so it's not like I can kind of take advantage of that anyway. But I was a huge fan of X-Men back in the day. Jubilee was my favorite. She was my favorite because I don't know why, but I liked her powers. They were I don't know why.
I was always big on Storm.
Oh, right on. She was another good one. But as I matured, Wolverine became my favorite X-Men. Beast was also a big one for me. Nightcrawler, maybe it's Blue. Maybe it's because I love Blue.
I love Nightcrawler, and I loved Wolverine. I used to watch cartoons. I had all of the card collections.
Yeah,
I was big into Xbox, so
it's like
or not Xbox, X-Men.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
That was not a promotion, guys.
She's not sponsored by Xbox. Okay, calm down, everybody. But I mean, I don't know. As far as the new stuff coming out, I like my old stuff because no one okay. So on Twitter, the first episode has been open to critics for Avatar: The Last Airbender, and everyone seems to hate it. And they gave their specific reasons. One in particular that comes to mind is that, they pay little, lip service to the original Avatar, but overall they're doing their own thing apparently, and that's not at all what I wanted. And that speaks to a bigger kind of problem with these creators that take these IPs. They don't care about these stories. They don't care about these characters. but they are more than willing to use them to, for their fan base, to tell the story that they want to tell and not stay true to the, what we actually want to see,
Yeah.
And
I mean, I can understand changing some things or taking liberties with some things, but The Last Airbender, I mean, there's a reason that it got a live action movie. There's a reason that they're giving it a live action TV show. There's a reason that it got the spin-off, The Legend of Korra. It's important. It's loved. It's a big opportunity. I normally go into remakes or TV shows, live action or whatever. I usually go into it with the mindset of it's standalone. But I think that it needs to honor the source material.
Right.
Or it's not going to work.
Right.
You take these characters that you loved and you're just like, well, I'm going to do what I want. That's not how you get the old fans along with the new fans.
That's right. And I think that's why Sonic was so popular and Mario. I think that's why they did so well, because sure, there were a bunch of Easter eggs, but the ones making it, they knew the assignment. They knew what we wanted to see, and that's why I loved the Mario movie. I love the Sonic movies. They gave me Supersonic. They gave me Supersonic. I've kind of always wanted to see that in live action form. So, hey man, you got me hooked for number 3.
Oh, I know. Like number 3 is not even a question. If
right.
you sold tickets today and you guys haven't even started it, I will go ahead and buy it right now.
This is so funny. Like when Sonic 2 came out, I can't remember where I was, but my family was out somewhere and but I went and watched that movie without them, and my son got super mad at me.
Oh yeah.
He got so mad. He was like, "You went and saw that by yourself? Oh, bad dad. And I was like, "Come on, dude." Don't do that. Another we do have quite a bit of comments. We're gonna get through all of them. No, I don't believe they mentioned it, and this has come from Lord Beerus. No, I don't think they mentioned it yet. It definitely should be addressed because that trailer was fire. Nice. I didn't get to see the trailer, and it's on Disney Plus, so I won't be watching it. The only thing that's really got me super interested about the new stuff that's coming out is the Knuckles show.
Yes, I'm excited to see that.
I will pay like 1 month of Paramount Plus just to watch the Knuckles show.
I think you could do a free trial. Just wait for the show to be released in full, and then you can binge
it and ready to go.
That's right. That's how you work it.
Right on. Let's see. We've got the Xbox and PlayStation do have some games that mix, but Nintendo did have Smash Bros with both. Yes. That one was a really big one for Nintendo, and that really kind of along with their Pokemon games and everything like that, but that one right there really solidified them as a freaking party kind of fun, family friendly, you can play with your brothers, sisters, cousins, you can come and have a good old time with this.
And it was also like, hey, serious gamers, we can be serious too. Like they have competitions with it.
Right on.
Oh my gosh. So, I mean, it ended up being really great for them.
Yes. Oh yeah. And then adding in the new characters and things like that, you know, that people wanted to see and love to play with. That's awesome. Another one from Lord Beers. People take the console wars way too nuts. I agree. It's supposed to be a friendly rivalry like Ken and Ryu or Goku and Vegeta. Well, I mean now Vegeta and Goku now, but then there's extreme gatekeeping that ruins it for everyone. That is very true. You have someone who's like, just getting into gaming. Imagine someone's just getting into gaming and, they look online and try to figure out which one would be best for them. And these kind of the fans is
you've
the
got
ones
the fans that are fighting between them.
It'll absolutely turn someone away from buying a console. It's like, you know what, forget this, I'm just getting PC.
For real.
And become a part of the master race. John DVZ, you learn a lot in general with games. I've learned more history in Hades and God of War than my college class.
Yes,
you learn a lot.
but you can.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And if you're a nerd like me, you'll go research the stuff
Yeah.
later or while you're doing it, because I have to have the knowledge.
Yes, and for me, obviously, you know, they took some liberties with God of War and the Greek mythology, but it gives you the desire to go look this stuff up for yourself, right? And whenever they came out with the Norse realm for God of War, I went and I freaking sucked up everything that I could, paused about learning all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was freaking cool. Norse mythology is way cooler than I thought it was. I was all
Greek
mythology.
Really is. I'm big on anything Viking though, because you know my dad did our genealogy and traced us all the way back there.
There you go.
So it's just kind of cool. I'm just like, yeah.
You
know, I probably have like a 0.0003% of Viking in me now, but you know, it's still cool. I've always loved like ancient Egypt, so when Assassin's Creed Origins came out, I was like, I'm all over that. And I love that they get the history in there, and the, you know, they'll take their liberties with stuff, but I love it. I like to be like, ooh, was this true, or what's the deeper story behind this? So yeah,
that's very cool.
Love it.
We've got another from Lord Beerus, Legend of Dragoon and Legend of Legai. Oh my gosh, you guys can't see that, can you? Here.
I'm not even going to pretend to say that, because my dyslexia is just going wild on that.
Here, I'm going to look.
Legaia, maybe?
That sounds right.
I don't know.
Here.
Lord Beerus will take a month to get back to us. So.
No.
I'm just kidding, dude.
Oh, okay. Here, this is what we have here.
Oh, yes. Okay, now I remember.
Legend of Legai. I can honestly say I've never played that game.
I haven't played it, but I do remember it because I had people that had that.
Okay, that's freaking cool. It looks good. Shoot, and if if they're talking about remaking games, I'd like to see this one remade. Let's see. You know what? We'll get into. I'll have this playing on the. Let's see. I don't know if they'll be able to hear this, but look at that. Almost. You guys seeing this?
I know I am, but that's because we're doing the stream. I don't know.
Right on.
Let me see if they can see it in the. I don't think it's seen in the live stream.
Oh no!
Live stream seems to be a little behind, but yeah, I can see it.
Right on. Okay, that looks super cool, Lord
It
Beerus.
does look cool.
I hope I see remakes for those. Those are my top 2 choices for remakes.
Nice.
Legend of, you know what? I want to see Legend of Dragoon too. I didn't look that one up.
I really think that would be cool. Lord Beerus has some good like retro games though. Like he knows a lot of stuff.
Freaking John does too. He
yes
showed me some things that I had no idea. Legend of
Lord Beerus is my go-to for like retro gaming, especially on his YouTube channel.
Oh yeah. Oh, yes, that one looks sick.
He just did my favorites of the Super Mario Land 1 and 2,
yeah,
and Link's Awakening and stuff. And I'm just like, yes, like I get to relive my childhood because I don't have access to any of that stuff.
Right on, yeah. Holy moly, look at this guy.
Oh man.
Oh, the gamer, come on. But no, that looks sick. Very good choices on that one.
Look at that one. It says The Legend of Dragoon on PS5. Go down 2. Right there. No, over. To your right.
This one?
Yeah.
Game Rant?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you.
That one you can kind of get out of. Thank God.
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay, so Legend of Dragoon's PS4, PS5 reception proves Sony is leaving money on the table without a remake. Huh. The Legend of Dragoon has finally been added to PlayStation Plus Premium, ending its long drought of unavailability. The announcement of The Legend of Dragoon's debut on PlayStation Premium caused widespread excitement as longtime fans eagerly awaited any news surrounding the title. The Legend of Dragoon is a first-party title for Sony, originally developed by Japan Studio for the PlayStation 1. Given the overwhelmingly positive reception to its debut on PlayStation Premium, Sony is leaving money on the table. Right on. Okay.
Okay, yeah, because they have the classic content that you can get when you get into the higher tier.
Right.
I believe you can like kind of stream them. But yeah, I might have to. Yeah, I might have to check that out because I've got that top tier. Thanks.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Okay. Very two great choices. Holy crap, bud. We've got one from John DBZ. I wish for update version I'd put Breath of Fire on that list with Vendel Hearts, but never will happen. Maybe. Let's hope. We're hoping from Lord Beers. Of course, the Resident Evil Queen wants all Resident Evil games remade.
You know, I wanna do, you know, like I said, I'm gonna do the whole series at some point, and I'm hoping to do it over this year.
Yes, it's the look. Lord Beers and John DBZ, they're like, it's like, hey. It's like, but Lord Beers says, did you say Vendel Hearts? Wow, it's very rare to hear another fan of Vendel Hearts. That's so funny. Deep cuts happening in the comments.
That's awesome.
Lord Beers, which Breath of Fire, John? I love this. And John says, you can look back at some very old games that would be cool now, but would take a long time to deal with. Just look at how much they put into Final Fantasy VII. Yep.
That is true.
And then Lord Beer says, true, John, true. And then John DBZ, what old game would Geek and Panda pick that would be a wish list game to update?
You know, I was honestly really excited about the Tomb Raider remasters.
Yeah.
The originals. Tomb Raider was always a big one, especially with my sister-in-law. We really bonded over that game.
Yeah.
So I kind of already got my old game.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, and also they had already redone Crash Bandicoot and then gave us a fourth one, which was really exciting for me.
Yeah.
So I've kind of gotten my older games that I wanted from when I was younger. They redid Resident Evil 2, which was my first PlayStation game, period. It was Resident Evil 2, then Crash Bandicoot, and then Parappa the Rapper.
Hold on.
And so those were really fun. I mean,
Parappa the Rapper. Oh my gosh.
I know. I just aged myself.
Oh my gosh.
But
I got that in the demo from a magazine back in the day.
Yes. Oh, I missed those demo discs.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a game on a demo disc that I don't remember what it was called. I gotta look for it.
Right on.
Yeah.
And it was on the PS1. I know one of them had like this little tank that would talk a whole lot of crap. Oh man, I gotta find it.
That's great. But yeah, I mean, I actually did get pretty much everything remade that I already wanted. Like I said, I want them to redo Resident Evil 5 so bad, and Code Veronica. I really do wish that they would do. I know that they did like a remaster of the original Resident Evil, but I do wish that they would redo it with the RE engine and give it these graphics and like, you know, kind of redo everything. So
right on. Okay, that's freaking great question.
Yeah, I love their questions, their interactions.
And Lord Beers agreed. He says, "Excellent question, John." Lord Beers, I'll remember that later, Miss Jill.
I bet you will. Thank you.
John DBZ, Beers and me being the older gamers in chat. Yes.
You guys are bonding now.
Yes, I love that. And so, let's see. Okay. Lord Beers, he teaches us how to pronounce Legend of Dragoon and Legend of Legaia.
Legaia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Legend of Legaia.
Or Legaia. Legaia.
Oh, gotcha. Legaia is how they're pronounced. They're PS1 JRPGs.
See, Lord Beers is good. He always helps you out.
Yes. Another one, John, I have great taste in old games, 100%. Yes. Because he is Lord Beers, of course.
He does.
John DVZ, Retro Games is okay, Beers. I let you pop by my place anytime to play Pac-Man on my arcade table. That's so dope.
Oh, whoa. John, do I get an invite too?
Obviously, yes.
Being serious. I love me some Pac-Man.
Lord Beer says, no joke, Dragoon and Lagaya have been talked about for remakes and sequels for years, like probably over 20 years, I think. It's a cash cow, but nope, Sony won't do them. Yeah, they're too busy doing remakes of The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Lord Beers again.
After 2 years.
Yeah, I know. That's what kills me. It's like
I still bought the remaster though, part 2, because it was only $10 for me because I already owned it.
Right.
So why not? That's like a DLC right there.
kind of, I guess. It's all, yeah, I guess. But
it's the price of the DLC. I don't think for it. I had gift cards from Christmas. So.
There you go. Right on. So you basically got it for free.
I did get it
Resident Evil 0 needs a remake.
Yes. That really, really does. And I really would love to see that one too, because it's got a lot of Rebecca in it. And I think that Jill's wildly popular, but they don't utilize her very much in games. They never really have. And Rebecca has been the one that's just completely overlooked. She was like, I want to say like 19 or something, fresh graduate, you know, super intelligent scientist, and she was like the doctor for the STARS team, and I mean, she's been in a lot of the movies, but I think that they should definitely utilize her more, bring her into some more stuff. I would kill for like a Rebecca, Jill, and Claire game.
Oh shoot. They're probably listening. They'll probably give that one to you. Freaking,
I'm telling you.
Oh my gosh. There's a ton of those Resident Evil movies out there. And I'm not talking about the live action.
Yeah, the CGI ones that Sony themselves does.
Yeah.
Like when they put out Death Island, you didn't have to, I didn't even need to see a preview. All I saw was a picture. It was Leon, Chris, Jill, Rebecca, and Claire, and I was like, I'm sold. Like, here's my money. Go ahead and take it. I don't even need it. You know, like, I don't care what it's about. Just, it's got them. Give it to me.
Right on. Lord Beerus, again, he says, can you all imagine the 3 Super Mario Land games getting a remake with the same graphics and engine that the Link's Awakening remake had? They've been doing so good with the remakes. Like, well, I mean,
Link's Awakening is gorgeous. I'm actually going to do that on my channel.
Right
at
on.
Some point.
Yeah.
So it looks so good the way it was remade, and it's so cute. Little Link.
Oh, John DVZ says, I have a full arcade, so you can pop by. Sure, but I think you would spend most of the time looking at the console. I've collected everything in the past 30 years. You know, dude, that's so awesome.
I would spend a lot of time fangirling, and it'd probably get you, like, you'd probably take about a week to get me out of there, but yeah.
I know. It's like a museum.
Right?
If it wasn't for Rebecca, and this comes from Lord Beers, if it wasn't for Rebecca, the team would have probably been unalived because she made the antidote quick in the mission.
Yeah, she did. And it was like they did a callback to that in the Death Island movie that they released last summer.
Yeah.
Like she was like, okay, y'all go and explore everything, and they call her, and she's just like, oh, maybe we need to make an antidote. And I swear she shows up within like hours, you know, and everybody's infected except for Jill.
Oh, shoot,
she was just like, you know, it was just great.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I know what I'm watching. Okay. And Lord Beer says Death Island rocked.
It did. It was so good.
Right on. So that's 2 hours and 3 minutes. I think we're getting ready. Let's get ready to wrap up a little bit.
Sorry, guys.
Oh no, freaking, it's been awesome. But my wife popped in and was like, are you almost done? I'm like, okay, I'll get done. But one more.
Yeah,
Lord
you would have to purge me.
John will probably have to purge Gamer Geek out of the house. That's hilarious. Right on.
That's gonna be the phrase from last week's stream. Like, he purged his way into my lap. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We'll make t-shirts, Lord Beerus.
Yeah. First and foremost, John DBZ, Lord Beerus, Thank you for being in the chat. And Lord Beers, you've been going hard on Twitter, and we really appreciate you for that, man. It's been
Yes, we do.
absolutely ridiculous. I've been watching that, you know, freaking what you're doing almost brings me to tears, dude. Seriously. But any last notes, Panda? You got anything to sign off for us to sign off to?
Oh man, I don't think so.
Okay.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
We discuss a lot, that's for sure.
Yes.
I'm hoping for another one for next week. We'll
Mhm.
probably have a lot more information as well, but
Mhm.
it's fun. This is exciting. I like learning a lot, and then the going back and forth between all three of us in the
Mhm.
comment section.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
exciting.
Yeah.
Mhm. And Panda brings a lot to the table with his knowledge and his jokes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's
I love
like
it.
the fundamental gamer guy.
I'm
You know,
telling you.
if you guys seen his room, you know.
I know. I gotta get a cam, man. I gotta find a good one that can show the whole room.
Right on.
There you go.
Gamer, anything to sign off with?
Actually, I think that's pretty good. You know, I just always have so much fun. I could talk to you guys for like hours. So
Yeah. You guys
we
make
could
it so
probably
easy.
go on another 2 hours. So
Yeah.
but
Right on. And I have nothing. We'll talk offline, but I'll go ahead and get this wrapped up here in a second. See you guys.
all right, guys. You guys have a great one, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining, guys.
Absolutely.
Right on. Thank you, everyone. Like we said, specifically, Lord Beerus, John DBZ, you guys make this even more fun. We have an actual panel now, but thank you guys for showing up. Really appreciate it. For everyone else, if you are in the chat, not saying anything, we really appreciate you. If you enjoyed that conversation, leave a like and subscribe. It's the best thing you could do for the channel. And we have these various links you could take advantage of also. It really helps out the channel. But other than that, see you in the next live stream. But until then, keep it casual. Peace. There.